What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, H. Brook Miller. And today is a special day. And it's not because it's the eve of New Year's Eve. Today is the day that I finally get to pick up my next watch that I've been doing so much research on. And for those who know me, know that before I make a big purchase, I go down a rabbit hole of trying to find every single thing I can about the product, trying to find the best price. I'm out here talking to different authorized dealers, representatives on the phone from the pre-owned industry, and you want to do that when you're purchasing your next timepiece. This is something that's going to be part of your collection, and it should be part of your collection for quite some time. And it costs absolutely nothing to do the research, but it costs everything once you purchase it. And if you make the wrong purchase, sometimes you can't get that back. You go and try to resell these things and they're not going to be worth what you paid for them. Even if it's a desirable item, because the dealers is going to purchase it back from you, you got to leave them room to make money. So it's good to do your research. It's my common practice. I don't buy not one watch on an emotional decision. As much as I love timepieces, as much as I've been and sat in front of great timepieces that I want to pull the trigger on, I always go home and do the research. I always go home and think about it and make sure that it's a logical decision for me, right? So I've done that, I've done the research, and now today is the day that I get to go and pick this watch up. I've been fortunate this time to be able to pick it up locally from an actual dealer here downtown Chicago that I'm about to go to, and I'm gonna take you guys with me. They're great people. They do great service. I've been in there numerous amount of times looking at all the different timepieces. I actually reached out to them yesterday and told them about which timepiece I was looking at. They didn't actually have it in their actual location, so they had to go pick it up, and they have it here today. So today I'm gonna look at it, and if everything goes right, I'll be going home with it. And then I'll do an unboxing and I'll talk a little bit more about the timepiece and everything. So, hey, it's a good day. It's definitely a good day. So I'm gonna take you guys with me on this journey. So sit back, relax, grab you something to drink on, and let's go. All right, that wasn't so bad. About a 7-8 minute drive from our house, so traffic was pretty light too, for it to be Chicago at least. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about this piece because it's going to complement my other daily watch that I have. And my daily watches are very low profile, right? Nobody really knows what they are unless you know watches. And it's something I can wear with everything, whether I'm having on a jeans or a t-shirt, or whether I'm suited and booted. This next watch that I'm about to pick up, pretty much gonna fit the bill. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm not a really flashy type guy when it comes to my watches. I'll never buy anything that's diamond bezeled or anything like that. My flashiest watch is my Submariner two-tone, and I barely wear it. I wear it, but I don't wear it every single day. Wear it on special occasions, and if I'm, dressed up a little bit more, I'll wear it, but it's not a daily at all. But this next one is going to complement the daily, so pretty excited about that. What's going on, everybody? Well, I'm back and I have with me my Rolex Explorer 212470 Mark II dial. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I've only had this watch for a couple hours and I am ecstatic. I have been so happy with my purchase. And full disclosure, I've actually had this Rolex Explorer before, but I had it in a different setting, in a different dial. I previously had the Mark I dial, and I thought that I was gonna be happy with it when I purchased it. Seeing it online, seeing the pictures of it, I didn't think that I would care about the difference between a Mark I dial and a Mark II dial. But once I actually had possession and I spent some time with it and I just kind of lived with it a little bit, there was some things that I didn't like about it. For those of you that don't know the differences between the Explorer Mark I and Mark II dial, I'm gonna go over them real quick just so you can know. So the Rolex Explorer changed from 36mm case to a 39mm case in 2010. And from 2010 to 2016, they actually came out with the Mark I dial. Now, people started coining it Mark I because it ended up changing it to another dial. And the reason for it was because the hour markers on the 3, 6, and 9 of the Mark I dial were made of white gold. And the hands were what we thought was little. Like the Rolex community was very, very, very unhappy with the way that they increased the case size of the watch from 36 to 39, but you kept the hands from the 36 onto the 39mm. So it made it look kind of funky. It made it look it wasn't aesthetically pleasing. But Rolex heard the cry and they actually ended up changing the dial and the hands in 2016. So from 2016 to 2021, they actually came out with a different dial and bigger hands, but they still left the same reference number. So you can actually purchase a Rolex Explorer 214270, but there's two different dial configurations. So that's very important for you to know when you're purchasing it, because you can very well purchase one not knowing that they have another. Now the Rolex Explorer 39mm case size was just discontinued this year in 2021, and they actually went back down to the 36mm. So your most current reference at this point, you can only get it at 36mm from an authorized dealer. And I understand why Rolex did it. I mean, 36mm is the original case size of the Rolex Explorer. So they kind of wanted to bring it back to its original roots, and I totally understand that. And now, for those of you that had the 5-digit reference models, the 14270, where it had hollow center links and the bracelet was very like dainty, and it wasn't very sturdy, and the movement wasn't up to par to what we have now. Now you can actually purchase a 36mm model, which is the Rolex Explorer at its original form, but it has all of the newest upgrades. Upgraded movement, case size is back to 36, and the actual bracelet is way more sturdy and durable. It has a 5mm extension, and it's solid all around. So good job on Rolex for doing that. But for those of us that still like the 39mm, you know, I'm a guy that's 6'2", 210. So I've tried on 36mm watches, 34mm watches, and they look nice, but they just not for me. I like watches that have a little bit more size. The lowest I probably can go is 39mm, and the highest I probably go is probably 44. But for those of us that still want all of those latest upgrades, but the bigger case size, we got to go into the pre-owned market. We got to pay that premium, but it's still available. And I'm gonna be honest, I've only had this watch for a few hours, and I am simply over the moon with this thing. I mean, it's so simple, it's so sleek. You can wear this watch with absolutely anything. If you're a person that's down for a one watch collection, this is it. It's what we call the no nonsense watch. It doesn't have a date function, but you don't need a date function. You check your cell phone if you want to see the date. It's simple. You can view the time at any time of the day. It's perfect. So initially when I saw this watch online, when I was thinking about purchasing, trying to decide whether I wanted to get the Mark 1 or Mark 2, I didn't think at the time that I would mind the difference between the dials. I figured it was, it still looked good, it still looked clean on the pictures that I saw, so I was good to go. I purchased it, I liked it, but I didn't love it, right? There was a couple things that I had a problem with. There was two major things. One, it was the watch itself that I actually purchased, and then two, it was the actual dial configuration. So what I noticed with the Mark 1 dial is that it was very hard to read under certain types of light. If you're in a very light setting, those white gold hour markers will wash out. So it kind of messed with the aesthetics of the watch. So for those of you that know the history of the Rolex Explorer, you would know that the Rolex Explorer is known to be the most visible dial that Rolex has. It's no nonsense. It doesn't have a date function. It's very simple. You should be able to look down at your watch, tell what time it is, and keep it going. Well, I couldn't always do that with the Mark 1 dial. There was times where those hour markers would wash out and I just couldn't tell. Now, basically having watches for years, I knew where the 3, 6, and 9 markers were, but aesthetically, I didn't like it. I didn't really mind the small hands. I really didn't have a problem with that, but I did have a problem with the 3, 6, and 9 hour markers. So that was one thing I was unhappy about. The second thing was that actual watch I purchased needed to be serviced. When I purchased the watch from the authorized dealer, pre-owned, they gave me a warranty that I could have used. I could have sent that watch back and got it upgraded and got it done. But I purchased that watch during the height of COVID season, and the Rolex manufacturers were closed. The retail stores was barely open. The factories where they fix and service and repair the watches were closed, and I just didn't want to chance it. I was nervous about spending 3 to 6 months without a watch, because regular service is already takes about 8 weeks. So if you factor in the count that they were closed, and then whenever they open, they're gonna be, behind. I was thinking I wasn't gonna have this watch for another 3 to 6 months, and I just didn't want to not have my watch for that long span of time. So I ended up selling it. I sold it to another great market dealer. I explained to them the issue that I had with it. They gave me a great deal with it, and I traded it for something else. So this year, when I was looking for another daily watch to mirror with my other Submariner, I couldn't help but to keep thinking about this Rolex Explorer. Now, there were other watches that I had in consideration, but I didn't feel that I gave the Rolex Explorer its justice, right? I knew that they had fixed the problems with the Mark 1. Fast forward 2016, they fixed those issues. They came out with another dial, and instead of the hour markers 3, 6, and 9 being white gold, they filled them with lume. It gave the watch more presence. They put larger hands on the watch, and it now aesthetically went together. It looked very clean and sleek, like it should. So I always had that itch to have it again. I was like, well, I already had this watch before, and these were the problems that I had with it, but I didn't feel that I really gave it justice. So I did a little bit more research, went and talked to a lot more ADs, and just kind of got an overall understanding of the watch in itself, and I pulled the trigger. And I'm telling you right now, I'm happy with it. I'm very happy with it. I mean, I've only had this thing for a few hours, like I said, but all times of the day, night, day, different shadows, when I'm out walking my dog, I'm able to look down and see the time. And that was the problem that I had with the first one. So I'm pretty happy. Now, the place I ended up purchasing this watch from is Burdeen Jewelers. And they're located right here in Chicago in the downtown area, right on the Magnificent Mile. And I'm gonna leave their website and link in the description below, because I'm gonna tell you right now, I purchased many Rolex watches and just watches in general from all types of gray market dealers online, and they've all done a great job. I've never really had any issues with anyone that I purchased watches from, but it's something about having someone local. There's something about being able to stop into a store, no matter what time of day, and just have some conversations with like-minded individuals that carry these watches, that sell them, that know a lot more than you do about them, and they can just help you make a better educated decision on whatever you decide to purchase. That's exactly what Burdeen Jewelers did for me. The whole staff is stellar. They have a banging pre-owned watch selection. If you're in the market, if you're in Chicago, I highly encourage you guys to just jump on their site and just look at their inventory and see what they have. Now, they're also authorized dealers for Lange, Grand Seiko, Omega, Breitling. So if you're in the market for watches outside of Rolex, they can still help you, okay? So I highly encourage you guys to check them out. Stellar staff, highly educated about the watch game. They know what they're talking about. Check them out. So I just want to thank you guys for coming on this journey with me, sitting down, listening to my story. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm still in the honeymoon phase with this thing, but I'm very, very happy with my purchase, and I'm totally glad that I gave the Rolex Explorer a second chance and a second look. I think I'm gonna have this one in my collection for quite some time. Speaking of collection, I am gonna put out a video to show you my state of the collection. I don't have many, but I'm gonna show you the state of my collection currently, and I'm also gonna do some other videos about watches that I've had, because I've had a ton of different Rolex models and other brands, and I wanna share my story with you guys so you can not make the mistakes I made, or you can just learn about the watch a little bit more, or maybe I can give you an insight on something that you didn't look at. Please like and subscribe to the channel. It's a very, very, very new channel, so any comments, concerns, or advice that you can give me is going to be greatly appreciated. On this channel, I'm simply going to talk about my lifestyle, the different things that I have, that I possess, that I enjoy, that I think that you may be able to use or help you in your life. So again, thank you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.